Alright, here we go on part 4 of the original pod button build that I was doing. And in this, what I was waiting for was jumpers, which are these things here. I mean, I could have used any wires, you know, but I just felt like these jumpers are a little more cleaner. You can see they're solid core. So these, I need a lot of these to jump from across, like here's one here to here for the positives. And yeah, so I'm going to be using this instead. But yeah, and I also got some diodes. Here's some diodes, and this is essential if you're going to be using your tone generator and hooking this up to an MP3 player and using them for functional buttons. So you're going to need diodes to kind of separate the signals from one another so they don't clash. Alright, you can see I ran my jumper. And what I did was take one long jumper and I just kind of soldered it on the ground in of those legs, going down on both of these sides. And then I have a little leg off here on the ends. You can use either side to put your ground in, either side of this. Whichever side you use, you can just snip the leg off and then solder on your ground in. And same thing with this positive here. Put your positive wire here and that'll be synced up. I just left the old cables on already. I didn't feel like unsoldering them. And that's already tied in from the power going across. And I have a leg going from here to here that I already had done for the ground going across. So now all this is hooked up. So now I can hook this up to a ground and positive and all the leads will work. And I'll show you that in a minute. Alright, here I added positive power 12 volts from a battery down here, a car battery, and the ground to the back. And you can see, you know, it's functional. Some of these, I don't know why the green and yellow is turning off when I push them. Don't know why, but I actually kind of like that because in the show it kind of had a lot of little different sequences that it did, so I'm not even going to worry about that. It might have been the switch, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It might have been just the way I wired it up. I might have not had the legs on there correctly or something. I don't know. But the point is here is they're working, you can see. And if that's all you wanted was on original pod buttons, then you'd stop here. If you're not going to use these to hook it up to anything, if you're not going to use the tone board, you don't need to do anything else other than what I've done up to this point. And you'll have some light up functional, you know, buttons. And anyways, when you push these, the red turns on, and you know, as soon as you let go, I didn't make them latching leads where they stay on, so it's just momentary. And I just got this thing taped on here. I'll show you what I did. See, it was on the positive and the negative leg. So, but let's go to the next step. Okay, so say you want to run this to your tone generator off your voice box, or you got a standalone one. So what you would do then is you're going to take your ground out, which is this leg here, the third leg at the bottom, and you're going to wire this one to the voice, the sound generator, tone generator. What you can do is you can jump all these together, all the grounds, trigger grounds. When you push it, it gets activated, this bottom one. You can wire them all, jump them all together and run them all into one splice of wires, connect them all and run it into one tone, and then they'll all tone the same tone. Or you can do half of them into, you know, it just depends on the tone generator. Some of them will have 3 tones like this one, so I'd only be able to use 3 tones anyway. If you get the standalone from Jupiter, it's got like 9 to 12 tones, different sounding tones. And other people sell different tone generators that will make different sounds. So, but the point is, that's where you would want to put your ground. If you're not going to use a tone generator, you just want to hook this up to a ground switch. Don't run them together, because then they'll all run off, you know, whatever switch you push, they'll all run off the same thing. So what you want to do is just use one wire here, one wire here, one wire here, so you just solder your wires onto each ground leg that you're going to use for that input, whether if it's license, flip, oil, you know, whatever you're hooking up to the device that you want to turn on for momentary devices. Okay, so what I did, that's just the basics of it. If you want to do the basics, if you want to go a little more complicated, you can get some diodes like I did. I think these are 1 amp diodes, and the way these things work is, if I can get them out. Okay, you got to make sure you got the right way. If it's for ground, you want to have the little line pointing towards the ground side, which would be this way. Okay, don't know if you could see that. The little line is at the bottom, so you're going to hook this one up to my ground switch here. It's going to solder onto that, and then this leg up top here will go to your tone generator, and then the bottom leg over here on the other side will go to another port, MP3 player or your device, and that'll keep it separate using a diode. So what I will do is I'll wire my wire here still on this thing here, and I'll just run another wire from this leg. Okay, and you could also do this if you're using a board. I'm using an MP3 board, so let me show you this one here. So I was thinking you don't have to do it here. You probably can do it right up in here too, by plugging this one in here, just like this, and then you take your wire. Let me get a wire here to show you, and then this wire will plug in here like that. You see that? See where I'm getting with? And so they're divided, and then you'll have a wire off that leg going into here. So you don't have to put the diode directly on here. It's actually cleaner if you put it on like a board like I'm doing. And same thing with the tone generator. You could probably just put this diode going right into the tone generator where the sounds are right here. So you would have this one in here going in, okay, and then same thing like I told you over there. You'll have 2 wires going in, and then the diode will separate it. So, and the point of the diode again is to keep it from clashing. You know, it's keep it separated. All right, kind of like this. You see, I got the 2 diodes in there on my MP3 board, and these 2 are going to connect. Actually, I'm going to put 20 of them here, and all of the ends are going to connect into one. And then from this end is where I'll put 1 wire, and that 1 wire will go into my tone generator. So when the button's pushed, it'll trigger the MP3, and it will push the tone generator to beep. But since these are all going to be hooked up to the same wire, you're not going to have them all turning on the ground, and you know, all the inputs at once, because they're going to be tied together. Because this it's not going to let it flow back in past this diode. It's only going to push out, so it's only going out to my tone generator, but it's not going to come back into the other boards, if that makes sense. So that's why you need the diodes. If you were just to take every single wire and plug it into a tone generator, you would need 20 different tones to plug in so they don't intermix. And that's if you're using this to be a functional, you know, or even for the MP3 to work off of it, MP3, or to make it functional to use stuff. So you don't want to have to push this and it triggers everything that you have hooked up to it. Like, let's say you had a license plate flipper, oil spillage thing in the back, and then your smoke release. If you had them all tied in together on 1 wire to the tone generator, you'd push any one of these and they would all go off at the same time. So it would be like pushing 3 buttons at once. And you don't want that. You want them separated, and that's the whole point of using diodes. So it took me a while to grip what diodes were used for in the past, but I've learned since, and I'm trying to explain it to you guys the best way I can without, you know, getting you confused. And just know that the diode, it works with positive or negative. Positive, you have to flip it the other way around, but it allows the negative source or the positive source to go one way, but doesn't allow it to back feed back through the other wires, because it's like a separator, almost kind of like, you know, like a check valve. It lets it go one way, but it can't go back. Alright guys, I think I had the diodes the wrong way. I flipped them over. Now it's working the way it should. So I have the little line going towards the MP3 player, and yeah, that's the way you want it. And then you have the two legs on this side put together, and that's for the tone. And the reason why you do that is because if you don't do it where this thing is pushing out the negative output here and only pushing it out, if it's feeding it back, if I have it the other way, if it's feeding back, then it will the tones will, activating the tones will catch the next trigger switch. Just trust me, you want to do it the way I'm showing you here, and I'll show you kind of an example here. See that, how you can hear the tone, and it's triggering my MP3 player. Alright, so turbo boost.
Got him in my sights. Excuse me, but just what do you think you're doing? Kindly keep your hands to yourself, madam. Very well, Michael. That's irrelevant. You are not the proper owners of this vehicle, so either you get out, or I...
Alright.
I cannot willingly endanger human life, Michael. You know that. I think this has gone far enough. Adios, amigos. I think this has gone.
So this was supposed to be, I think I had this one set up as turbo boost, not turbo boost, but rocket boost.
I think this has gone far enough. Adios, amigos.
But you see, every time I push it, it's a different file playing. Of course, I have these all mixed up, so.
Got him in my sights. I cannot willingly endanger human life, Michael. You know that.
But see, the way this is working is you got your ground going into your MP3. I'm just using 2 right now, and the diodes just keeps it from. It keeps. It allows you to run 1 wire, or 2 or 3, whatever you want to use. But that way you don't have to use 20 different wires to go into a different tone and have like 3-4 different tone generators. You can do this all into one tone generator by using diodes. So that's the whole purpose of the diode. So you'll have a diode out on each one of these legs. I'll have 20 diodes coming out of this, and they'll be all tied into 1, 2, 3 tones, whatever you got. So if you got a 3-tone board like this one, so you'll take maybe 7 of them, and then 6, and then 7, and then you'll run those 6 or 7 together off of these legs here, with 1 wire going to that tone, to your tone generator. If you got a standalone tone generator, it'd be better if they had, like, you know, if you could get a tone generator that had the same tone that when you push it, it changes. That'd be cool, because then you can wrap them all up in 1 wire and just run it right directly to that tone generator, and it would sound differently every time you push it. But I mean, it's okay. It doesn't bother me if it's the same tone. Like this is the same one, and that's fine with me. I don't need a bunch of different sounding tones.
Get out, or I will take the appropriate measures. I cannot willingly endanger human life, Michael. You know that.
Okay, so yeah, so you're gonna need some diodes. That's the point of that. And yeah, if I didn't use diodes, watch, I'll show you the difference. If I ran these poles together down here, okay, see?
I cannot willingly. Kindly keep your hands to yourself, madam. That's irrelevant. You are not the proper owners of this. Excuse me, but just what do you think you're doing?
I think it gets confused if you do it like that, because you're running them together. Yeah, so this is kind of hard for me to explain, guys. I'm sorry. But if this ground is triggered here, it's going through here and it's triggering this one, you don't want it to trigger your other buttons, and that's the whole point of that. So if this thing was to go the other way, these ones together, they would be turning on the same thing. Let's try this again. Let me show you. Watch. Okay. You see it's only turning on one ground. Okay. Now watch. Let's switch this one over. I think this is the best way to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay.
Got him in my sights.
There you go. See that? Both of the LEDs turned on for both switches because I'm bypassing the diode. And that's exactly what would happen if you ran this without the diodes. You'd have all of these hooked up to one tone generator. If you hooked them up to one, or they'd all light up at the same time. And if you really had them as real functional buttons and you were pushing this to turn on your smoke release back there, oil, you're going to have oil, smoke, lights, everything flipping at once because you don't have diodes. So that's why you need the diodes. See that? And all you do is switch this the right way, put it back at the top. Okay.
I think this has gone far enough. Adios, amigos.
And it's separated again. So yeah, that's the whole purpose of the diodes for this setup that I'm doing. There's many ways you can do it. You can see this set here. All the diodes were wired right into the switch pod, and then they were soldered together, and then one wire was coming out to that tone generator. And I guess somebody wanted to use them for other buttons, so they broke it off, the diode. But all they had to do really is put a wire down at the bottom, bypassing the diode. But yeah, that's how you do it with the diodes. That's how I'm doing it. I'm sure there's many ways to do it differently, but only thing that I really can say that it doesn't fix is when you push it, the tone doesn't turn off when you push it. Hear that?
I think this has gone far enough. Adios, amigos.
But if I'm using it for a license plate flipper, I only have to push it once. Smoke release, you're not going to be holding it for too long, maybe 3-4 seconds. That's all you really need to get a bunch of smoke out. So I don't think there's anything I'm going to be hooking this up to that I'm going to be having to hold it down for like a minute or something where it's going to annoy me with the tone generator. So that's not a big deal to me. From what I can see, yeah, these are mostly just, you know, push it once and that's it. So that's not really an issue, but I just wanted to tell you guys that that will happen. And but again, it's not an issue to me because of my setup of what I'm using for my pod buttons for. But I think that's it. I'm wrapping up this video because I'm not really going to wire these up right now because of the fact that I'm going to put some connectors on here, and once I do it, I want a certain length, and yeah, I don't want to solder anything on here until I got my wire loom right there. But I don't know how long I'm going to have to make it or whatever, so I think I'm going to wait on you can see this is kind of barely on there, taped on. Trying not to get it short, but yeah, that's it. These things they get a little bit hot, not too bad. I can still touch it with my fingers, but make sure you use the right resistor. Do some research on what ohm or whatever you're supposed to use resisting power for LEDs. I just used whatever I had in stock, and they seem okay. They're not too hot. But yeah, if they get really hot, that's probably the wrong resistor that you're using. They shouldn't get to the point where it's going to melt anything on the back or anything like that. So keep that in mind also. And I'm just going to disconnect it because that thing's kind of funky right there. Yeah, because you know, let me show you. I just had some tape over it because I really don't feel like sitting here and getting those pigtail things connected on here. So I don't have any, so I just kind of did that to show you guys in the video. And this was just kind of on there as well. but I wanted to let you guys know and see how to do it. And I'm not doing mine now because I'm gonna wait till like I said, I'm gonna get this loom out and I'm gonna solder them up. And then I'm thinking, because what if you have to service your pod? You don't want it all wired up and then have to take your pod out and then there's a big old long wire hanging going through your console and then into your middle console, and then you have to go all the way back and try to disconnect all that. So what I'm gonna do is put a connector in here in between for my pod, a couple feet from the pod itself, and then I'll have a little connector where it connects in. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet. I was going to use that one I bought the other day. I don't know where I put it, but I'm thinking maybe something else. I bought a bunch of these the other day, the regular ones. These ones right here. I might use those, but thing about these is once you solder them in there, they're kind of stuck to whatever you did, and if I have any changing around I want to do, it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. They have these ones too, but that's only 9 pin. So I don't know, I might buy something else for these. I'm thinking just to get a wire loom and then just solder it to it. One of those connecting wire looms off eBay for the pods itself. Yeah, so but that's all you got to do, guys, is what I'm showing here. Add that jumper to your ground inputs, and then got kind of a mess here. Also, I wanted to talk about a dimmer. I bought a dimmer for it. It's like $2 for this thing from China. And it actually works on the LEDs to dim the LEDs, because at night I hate driving with these things super bright in your face. So maybe I'll do a video of that right now too to show you how that works. Alright, so my pod's going to have tones when you push it. It's going to have an MP3 player putting out 100 to 200 files per switch, whatever I want to put on there. Songs, turbo boost, 100 different styles of turbo boost if I want. So I'm going to have that, and I'm going to have them as functional ground switches, momentary switches as well. And on top of that, I'm going to be adding a dimmer, as you can see here. It's a $2 or less dimmer from China, guys. Real easy. It's hot and ground. It's got one side that goes to the leads, one side that goes to your battery, 12-volt ground. Okay, real simple. And not only does this dim your lights, but it will give you like a strobe flashing effect too. So I'll show you the strobe effect first. And there's different speeds, so that's just the slow speed. And then there's this kind of flickery, kind of fade in, fade out. Then you have this one where they're almost turning off and turning on. See that? And you have blinking, fast blinking, a little bit slower blinking. So I thought that was cool because, in the show there's so many different instances where they did different things in the show, where Kit, when he was all messed up, sometimes he would go and flicker when he get electrocuted or something. And I'm just pushing this top button. It says mode demo. So it's got a bunch of different ones to choose from. Okay, then I'll just go to, oh, I forgot, it has a speed control too in the middle. See, when I push the speed control, you can make it flicker slower and faster. That's faster. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but it's flickering. So you got this one. And I can actually speed it up and slow it down. I forgot. Every mode that I showed you, I can go back here and hit the speed and slow it down or speed it up. See how I'm slowing it down? Good boy, Michael. It's back. Still got a heartbeat. Okay, let's go to the next mode. See, that one's blinking real quick. Just hit the speed again, and you can slow it down. See? Pretty cool. So you can mess around with it. I mean, for $2, anyone in the world can afford this. And then let's try the dimming mode. The dimming mode is, it'll say light at the bottom. Push that once, and then you got the speed of the dimmer right here in the middle. And that's the bottom dim. That's the lowest dim. So when you're driving and you don't want that thing blinding you in the face at night, that's perfect. And then one up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's super bright. You don't. That's probably how it is when you have it on the highest setting. Yeah, because then it goes down to dim. And again, literally, I think this was $1.70 shipped. So this is like amazing buy. You know, you can't beat it. And because I only tapped into the LED and I kept it separate from the switch buttons, you know, I mean, it's really, I'm just lighting up the LEDs, and that's why this thing works. It has nothing to do with actual functions of the button. Only the ground part does. So, and that's why I'm able to do it with this. So, I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know if you can do that with any other pod buttons that you get from... maybe I should try it. I have one of these ones from Vincenzo guy. It's a copy of Jupiter's. Maybe I'll try it on that. But for now, guys, I mean, I just wanted to show you that. It's kind of one of those things that's kind of like cool, you know. It's not just a dummy type thing. You can make it more functional by just adding a $2 thing. And I actually just ordered 5 more of these, but with remotes, because they do come with remotes. Because I was thinking, well, what if it's a pain in the butt to go and push these buttons? So they actually sell this with an RF frequency remote. And I'm going to be doing a video on that next and showing you how that one works. Because, I don't know, I might not want to... I mean, I'll probably be able to install this like on the dash somewhere where you can actually just press it. That might work too, but I wanted to see how the remote ones work. But that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some stuff, some tricks and advice on this if you're going to do it on your car, on your Knight Rider car. So, you know, I'm an open book, guys. I'm trying to tell you guys all the secrets that I've learned over the years. This is actually something new to me. I didn't even know they had these until I actually looked on eBay and looked up a dimmer. One more thing about this dimmer switch that I want to mention is when you unplug it from power, it remembers what you had it on. So if you had this on dimmer, the lowest dimming mode, it would always be on lowest dimming mode until you actually push this again. So actually, I probably don't even need the remote one because of that. I was only going to get it because of that, because I thought that it would not, that it would change every time. But no, when I disconnect power from the battery, positive side, and I plug it back in, it remembers what I was on, what mode I was on. So that's another good thing is once you set it, you don't have to keep playing around with it. So again, I think I've seen these for less than $1 on eBay. Also, guys, if you make this set and the resistors, because the resistors I got, they get a little bit hot. I noticed with the dimmer, if you have it on the lowest setting, it's not pushing out as much volts to the LEDs, so it's not hot at all. Like, it's cool to the touch, completely cold. When I do raise it up a little bit, probably didn't use the right resistor is what I'm thinking. So I'll raise it up to the highest point, and then immediately I can feel it heat up back here on my fingers. It's not to the, you know, it's not super hot, but it gets warm to the touch. But I mean, it's not so much that I can't leave my fingers on it, but you can tell there's some voltage going through there. So that's another thing I wanted to note is, yeah, if you got the wrong resistors, just get one of these dimmers and it will dim down the LEDs for you. So pretty much it's spiking, it's giving the LEDs less power is what it's doing to make it dim. So stoked. Got myself some original pod buttons all finished up. Now all I have to do is do a few more wiring on the back to my wire loom and get some connectors that can plug in and out, so if I ever do any work on my pod I can just rip it out without having to, you know, rip the whole wiring out. That's it for this one, guys. Maybe I'll make one more video on this later on when I'm completely done with it, all wired up to the MP3 player and all that, so you guys can check it out one more time. But pretty much the instructions are all here in the last part 4 here. Yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. I'm willing to help. Got some bad news, guys. That dimmer switch that I got does not work with Vincenzo's board, Jupiter's board. Same thing. Sorry, guys, it won't work for you guys. But you could always build one of these like I did and it will work. Haha, I'm joking, guys. I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, oh no, man, I wanted that, but I don't want to build my own. That's too much work, right? And I'm not gonna lie, guys, it is some work, quite a bit of work to do these. But no, I just hooked it up and it does work. And this is from Italy. This is from Vincenzo back when he used to ship stuff on time to people. I got it a couple years ago, and now he's way back behind on his orders. But it's the exact copy of Jupiter's. It's engraved. To me, it looks just like Jupiter's. It's just a copy. So you could probably get it from Jupiter too. I don't know about KRWs or ID Geniales. I've never had one of theirs, so I can't question theirs, but it probably will work on theirs too. But here, I'll show you. Light and speed. See, that's dimmed. Much better for night driving right there, let me tell you. I am one who does not like to drive with the lights on, blaring in my face. And there you go, you can turn it up. Full power. Okay, so, and not only that, you guys, you can use the mode to it too. Check this out. Isn't that cool? And then it's got the speed button. You can speed it up, slow it down. Here's the next mode. This is kind of just like a flickery. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's kind of flicking, pulsing. It's a pulse mode. And I'll go to the next one. That's kind of a faster pulse. And again, you can hit the speed button in the middle and make it go slow, fast. Pretty cool. Next one. It's flickering faster. I don't know, guys. This is probably one of those things that is a must buy for you guys. I haven't heard anyone talk about a little dimmer switch for these things. Not once. So I'm sure everybody will copy. But that's what I'm here for. So you guys can learn new things and copy and do it too. I really don't care if you guys copy. You know, that's why I'm doing it. I'm not like those guys out there that build their kits and they're just like, well, they're all secretive. They don't want to tell you what bezels they use, what this and what parts they have. That ain't me. Guys, I want you to know what I'm using. I want you to go and learn and see how you can do it. I'm not selfish. I'm not in this to brag and go, oh, look, I'm better than you. Because, you know, anyone could do anything if they put their mind to it, guys. So that's just not me. I'm willing to help everybody out. And if you guys are hating on me because I'm helping people, well, I really don't care. You know, all you secretive elite KR guys out there, all you old timers, you know who you are. You know, you guys learn stuff, and you'll take something like this that costs $2 and sell it on your website for, you know, $100 and go, look, dimmer functions. You know, you'll charge people 2-3 times what it costs, or in this case, it's $2, so probably 100 times more. People like, you know, Don Colley, I've seen him. Oh, I got a dimmer switch on my pods. They're the best. Come on, $2, guys. I think I've seen these on there for like 79 cents shipped from China. So don't give me that crap where, oh, it's so difficult to, you know, to make it dim or this and that. Please. Anyways, that's it. Enough rambling. I'll put in the description this little thing in the description so you guys can buy one, because I know 90% of you guys are going to want one of these for driving at night. A lot better than having to turn these off with a switch. You can actually leave them on and still drive and not be blinded. That's it. Again, this is Jacob, NightRiderShop.com. Take care, guys.